JWW on the move. First of all, I want to say thank you again. I seem like I'm always thanking you, but there's a reason for that. You just poured out so many heartfelt thoughts to me when I was in the hospital, and I am so grateful for that. Thank you so much for your encouragement, your constant encouragement, and your prayers. Because I am now out of the hospital, ta-da! And I am so happy that I am. I want you to know what's going on. First of all, my reason for being in the hospital, just as a reminder for those of you that don't remember or don't know, I have to go back on dialysis. And so they had to put what they call a permacath in my chest for the dialysis procedure. And then they had to do a surgery on my left arm to create a fistula. That's also for dialysis down the road. So I'm going back on dialysis. I begin tomorrow, Monday, and I will be in dialysis on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays currently. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with dialysis, I have to be on dialysis 4 hours. 4 hours in the machine, or on the machine. 4 hours on the machine. But counting the time it takes me to get to the dialysis center, get hooked up, and then finally get started, it's another 45 minutes. And then at the end, you have to get unconnected and all prepped to leave. That's another 30 minutes. So we're actually looking at 5.5 hours, 3 times a week. But I'm doing that because I want to stay alive for my wife. And right now, that's about pretty much the only thing I can figure to do that. I've done it before, so I'm doing it again. Now, I was in bad shape when I went to the hospital. You may or may not remember that. You may not even know that. My legs were swollen like tree trunks. My arms and hands were swollen. Face was swollen. Chest was filled up with fluid and filling up with fluid. Couldn't breathe, barely could walk. As I was in bad shape. So that's why I decided to go back on dialysis. I actually I've been putting off dialysis with my nephrologist for, 3-4 months, hoping that my kidneys will gain strength again. But sadly, those signs I just described to you, those are classic signs of final stage kidney disease. So the only real option I have at the moment is the dialysis. Praying, of course, that the Lord will strengthen my kidneys again. What an amazing thing that would be if I actually got off of dialysis a third time. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but we can always hope, right? I'm feeling okay. I'm drained. I'm kind of tired. I'm still a little short of breath, but nothing like I was. I mean, I could just get up out of a chair and couldn't breathe. It was really, really rough. But I'm still a little short of breath, but the swelling is down, and I'm looking forward to continued improvement in those regards. And I'm looking forward to getting back into a rhythm of making my videos. As you know, today, February 22nd, will be 2 months since Adam passed away. And of course, in our family, that devastation still has a crushing effect. There's still a lot of tears. Sometimes there's a lot of sleeplessness. It doesn't take a lot to trigger it. I mean, just a sight of something in the house, a song, a memory, a picture, and suddenly tears start to flow. And that's the way it ought to be. We loved Adam. Adam loved us. It will pass. I am confident. It will be some time, But the day will come when we can look at his pictures and watch his videos and all those things. And instead of crying in pain, we can just simply weep with joyful memories of the love that our son had for us, and the love we had for him. And I know that he was your friend. You were his friend. You've watched him. You were with him daily for a decade or more. And so I appreciate what you're going through too. You're hurt. You're devastated. The shock was almost as shocking to you as it was to us, depending on how close you were to Adam. Some of you closer than others, obviously. So my heart goes out to you. My prayers go out to you. You have my condolences and my comfort. I pray the Lord's comfort for you. But we must move on, right? And so we plan to do that. Like I said a moment ago, get back in the rhythm of making my videos, working around and weaving around this weird schedule of dialysis, which is 3 days a week, but we'll figure that out. Then we got a bunch of doctor's appointments to dodge as well. Well, not dodge, but I mean, you'll work around. I'm not going to skip the doctor's appointments. It's okay. But reflecting back for a moment on the death of our son, several things happened as a result of that. I mean, it was a grievous pain I never want to endure again. But at the same time, good has come from this. You have been stimulated in your own life to find ways to put goodness out into the world and go search for your own adventures and do the things that you always said you wanted to do. Some of you are doing those things right now. That's kind of what happened with me. I had been thinking about going back and making videos, and I never had a focus. I never had a purpose, but now I do. So that's one thing. We talk about Adam's legacy, this legacy that he has left, this legacy, this circle of goodness, this legacy where people in his wake are following his example. This legacy of a man who really came from nowhere as far as the world's concerned, made a name for himself by his own efforts, made friends along the way, and became a hero to many people. Not everybody can do that in their life. Adam did. So that's one thing. One thing was the effect that Adam had in leaving a legacy. So I always want to encourage you to think about the legacy that's left behind after a death. Think about the legacy you are going to leave to your family and to your friends and to those who follow you. One day when people pick up your picture and look at your picture and say, oh, that's so-and-so, I remember what he did. I know people that did that with him. That's leaving a legacy. Oh, I remember all the good stuff he did. I remember this. I remember that. That's a legacy. You've left something that others can then build on. That's what Adam did. And that's what you can do. That's what I can do. So there's that aspect of legacy, the legacy that we all think about now because of Adam's death. His death has caused us to think about legacy, leaving a legacy. His legacy, your legacy, my legacy. There's something else that happened as a result of Adam's death. You and I became friends. Now, I know we don't know each other personally. Some of you personally knew Adam. Very few of you have even met me. A number of you have. And I'm grateful for that, and I'm looking forward to nurturing those friendships. But we became friends in a vicarious way, where we, through this lens and through your camera screen, your TV screen, your phone screen, we are friends in that regard. In other words, you've come to my channel because of the death of Adam. And I'm so grateful for that. And the way you've reached out to us, I have to say it one more time, We are just so impressed by the wonderful kindness that you have poured out to our family. Thank you again. So that's another thing that happened. We became friends. But there's something else that's caused me to think, and that's the purpose of this video. It's caused me to think not just about the legacy we leave behind, but the destiny we look forward to when we die. And so, my friends, I simply want to suggest to you that you think about eternity. One day, you are going to die. One day, I'm going to die. I'm on dialysis right now. There's no cure for kidney disease. I mean, you either go on dialysis or you get a new kidney. But even then, let's face the truth, even then, I'm going to die. So I've been thinking about that. What happens when you die? And my friend, I want you to, in this tender moment, I want you to think about that. I want to tell you a story of a man who grew up in the church, a child of good Christian parents. They took him to, back in those days, Bible school, morning worship, youth meetings, evening worship, Wednesday night prayer meeting. You may remember those days. And he did all the outward things he was supposed to do. Like I just said, he went to all those assemblies and so forth. He did what he was supposed to do, told to do. He came to a point in his life, the appropriate time, when he would confess faith in Jesus Christ and be baptized at the local congregation there. And he was. And because he did that, because he confessed with his mouth Jesus is Lord, and because he was immersed, he was told he was saved. And he went through his life with that perception. And he continued going to assemblies and youth meetings and all of those things through his life. He sang, he taught, he participated in classes, went to groups, went to all these youth rallies, all these things he did back in his day. But all the while, in his heart, he still loved his secret sins. He loved darkness rather than light. He put up a good show, yes. But it was obvious that his heart really was dark. It wasn't really full of light. Again, he did all the outward things, kind of like a Pharisee. He was good. But inside he knew that he still loved sin. He talked the talk, but in reality, he was fearful of being discovered. He was fearful that somebody was going to find out what his secret thoughts were. It caused him to be consistently angry, consistently judgmental. In short, the man was a false convert. Something that should have happened did not happen. He was alienated from the life of God. He was in bondage, and the ignorance of the depth and seriousness of his sin, it was frivolous to him. He thought being good would outweigh his sinfulness. The secret sinfulness in his heart now I'm talking about. And as you can imagine, that slavery brought a lot of destruction because his understanding was darkened. He did not really understand how to be a good father to his children or a good husband to his wife, and he destroyed those relationships throughout his life. Then another man, fearlessly but firmly, took the time to show this man the law of God, the Ten Commandments. Told, and suddenly his sin, the seriousness of his sin, was exposed. He was a liar. He was a thief. He was an idolater. He was a rebel. He was a lustful adulterer at heart. and he was a murderer because of the hate in his heart. If it had not been for that law of God, he would have never known. Suddenly, his mind was open. He stood guilty before a holy God. Yes, there dawned on him the reality of the terrifying terrors of torment in a place the Bible calls hell. Fire, brimstone, darkness, weeping, and wailing and gnashing of teeth. And when that reality hit him, his mouth was stopped from all of the self-justification, all of his talking about how good he was, when he realized in God's eyes, by God's holy standard, he was not good at all. And the Bible is true when it says that there's no one good but God. So then the man gently took him through the gospel. He gently explained that Jesus came because of his sin problem. That Jesus came, was sacrificed on a cross to pay the sin debt for your life. That's what the man told him. That's why Jesus came. Jesus didn't come as a good teacher. Jesus didn't come as a good example. Jesus came to seek and to save the lost. Jesus came to call not the righteous, but the sinners to repentance. So finally, this man understood the meaning of the cross. He understood that Jesus died for all of us sinners so that they would not have to go to hell. He understood that Jesus paid the price for all of his sins, that the punishment due him was now on Jesus. Jesus took that wrath. Jesus took that judgment on himself. So the man repented of his sins. He put his faith in the sufficiency of Jesus and what Jesus had done for him on the cross instead of his own goodness and his own good works. And he was immersed in water for the forgiveness of sins, to wash away his sins. And now that man, this fear of death, this death sentence, the wages of sin is death, this death sentence that he had on him is gone. It's been removed. And he has the peace of forgiveness. He has the promise of eternal life. And he has the power to conquer temptations and serve others by helping them understand what he had been told. Has anything like that ever happened to you? That's what happened to this guy. And I encourage you to consider what Jesus has done for you. Now, friend, I don't know what you'll do with that. I hope you take it in the spirit that I intended it. You see, when you see a friend about to step off of the curb in front of a moving bus, you reach out and you grab his arm and you pull him back. When you see a friend, if you think a friend is about to drink poison, you're going to do what you can to stop him from drinking that poison. If you think that your friend's house is on fire, you're going to do whatever you have to do to wake him up. My friend, that is the spirit in which I bring this message to you. Consider Jesus. Consider your eternity. 150,000 people are going to die worldwide today. That means that 150,000 people around the world got up this morning, brushed their teeth, combed their hair, put on their clothes, went about their day, not realizing that they are never going home. Or they got their clothes off, they dressed down, brushed their teeth for bed, got in bed, never knowing that they would never wake up. Oh, my friend, I don't know you, but I love you. And it horrifies me to think that you would spend eternity in hell. Please consider Jesus. Please do it today. You are not guaranteed tomorrow. We think we are. We think we make plans for tomorrow. Adam had plans. Adam had laid out plans for 2026. He was excited. He was telling people, but Sadly, he did not live to see them. That could happen to you. I'm just telling you, you need to get things right with the Creator, if they're not now. And if they are, great. Be faithful to Him. Be faithful to Him. Know Christ and make Christ known in your life. I don't know what you're going to do with that, but I just felt you needed to hear me say it. That's going to do it for today. And thanks for watching. I hope you receive this with the love that I'm sending it. Now go out and put goodness into your world. Smile at somebody. Hug your loved ones. Pay for somebody's food at the drive-thru. Call a friend. Encourage them. Speak truth into the darkness. And see what happens. And don't forget to mention where you're from, where you're watching from in the comments that you leave below. And if the Lord wills, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye and sleep well.
Wow.
Great.